Hi there everybody, it's UK independent demonstrator Halsey here from slimandstylish.com. Thank you for joining me today. Today it is another episode from my Winter Wednesday episode where I showcase a stamp set from the mini catalogue and I make 3 cards. I have no clue what I'm going to make, but I am going to be using the Like Me Home Cling stamp set. This is a very unlike me cling stamp set. It's just a very unlike me set, but I'm going to have a go with it, see where we are. And firstly, I'm going to attach my adhesive because I haven't even done that yet. And this surprises me as well. This is normally one of my favourite jobs. When I first get the stamp sets, I normally pop on a film and sit down, peel off all the backing and just go mad, attaching them to the actual adhesive. But it appeared to me that I hadn't shown anyone how to do this, which is fine for all of you established stampers and demonstrators that come and actually follow me. Thank you very much. But for anyone who is new to stamping and watches but doesn't actually have the stamp sets or are unsure what to do when you get them, it's a good example to show you. So on the actual leaflet you get with it, you get the sticker. You just peel the backing off. It's a bit difficult to find where the half is, so you probably need better lighting than what I'm sitting at the moment. It's a bit glary here. And you pop your stamp off. This is like a very soft foam, and you just pop it on here. You want to do it really, you want to make a conscientious effort when you do it. Don't do it half-heartedly, because once it is stuck, there is absolutely no way you're going to get this picture off. And then this is quite tacky, and that's what helps it stick to your blocks. So I'm just going to whiz around, whip these off. There's only 5 stamps in this stamp set, so be very grateful that the one I picked off my set stamp shelf today didn't have 20 of these in. Otherwise you'd be here. You'd be here like 20 minutes in, still waiting for the card. But I was going to do it before the video, and then I thought, no, pop on, do this first and show everybody how it happens, just in case people don't know. When you get the photopolymer, they're just ready to go. They already have the image on. Now, this bit here, once you've actually stuck them all on, and you are left with this bit, this is really helpful if you have any of our old clear mount sets, because they aren't cling, and you can use what is left of this adhesive to stick to the back of them to get them to stick in as well. And then I just throw this away. I know a few people do actually use them for different projects, but I like to card craft, not foam craft. Anyway, onto the card. So I'm using the big stamp because that's pretty much the main stamp in there, and I'm going to be using my Stamparatus because it's a big stamp. Let's pop that underneath. And because it's clear mount, I'm only going to use one of my foam mats. So when you buy the Stamparatus, it comes with one foam mat, which is fine if you are using the cling. But if you're using the photopolymer, which is a little bit thinner, then you're going to want to purchase an extra foam mat. They're not expensive, just to pop it up and get a better imprint. Okay, so the cardstock I'm using is 10.2 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres. Pop that in, and I'm just gonna start this off by popping that there. Make sure it's stuck down. Okay, I'm actually going to use StazOn for this. Normally I use Memento ink. Memento ink is great for using with blends, and this is my favourite ink of choice. StazOn, you don't want to use StazOn with blends because it is an alcohol ink and it will make your blends run. But it is great if you're using it with watercolour. So if you're going to use your watercolour pencils, which I'm planning to use, it's pretty good. The only thing with it is it does stain. Okay, Okay, so once you've used Stays On, I will show you in a second. Let me stamp that down. I'm actually going to double stamp it. I like that. Actually, I'm going to do exactly the same with another piece of card. So I'm going to grab a piece of card that measures the same. And go again with the Stays On. If you use Stays On for the first time, I will pre-warn you, it has a funny smell. I think it smells like marzipan. You know when you have like Battenberg? It smells like that. Not that I have it because unfortunately I'm allergic to almonds, but my nan used to have Battenberg and I always remember the smell, and she used to make it as well, and it smelled amazing. So for me, it's like when I smell it, it feels like Nan's kitchen, but at the same time it is a peculiar smell. Okay, so I've done 2. So we'll have a play with that, and this is what I mean about it staining. So I can wipe over that with my chamois as much as I like, and trust me, it is now clean. It's clean, but the stamp set actually has this colour still to it. So what you can do is there's 2 different things you can get. You can get our old version of our stamping cleaning pad. So if you have the stamp cleaning pad, this works perfectly, but Stampin' Up don't sell it anymore. And what you do is just stamp it on and grab your chamois and rub off, and as you can see it starts to clear the Stays On. Or we do have a Stays On cleaner, which is in the current catalogue, so you can use this, and it's got a bit of material on the top, and you just run it over. I think this is why they changed from the pad to the cleaner. Well, the cleaner was around, has always been around, the stamp pad coming new, and now it's retired. But the cleaner is just a little bit more efficient in my view, because you get a lot more liquid off it, and you can then just clean it up with your chamois, or you can run it through some water and it's just going to come off a lot better, and it won't stain your stamps. Bear in mind it is really liquidy, so after you've cleaned it, you're going to want to give it a bit to dry off before you try it on anything else, otherwise your paper is going to absorb that water as well. Okay, but we're back to a very clean stamp. Okay, no marks. So yeah, that's the Stays On cleaner. It's one of the reasons why I prefer Memento, because, you know, it's easier to clean. Right, grab my pencils. Ready to go. So I actually think the reason why I did 2, I was going to do 1 and watercolor pencil it. I did 2 because I actually liked that one, just monochrome. So I'm going to keep that like that. And I'm not going to take hours doing this. For people who are going to think, oh my gosh, that is a big card, she's going to be spending hours. I'm really not. I'm just adding a little bit of colour to the forefront. I'm really not very, I'm not very good with these sort of trees. I've done it as it's an evergreen, but I'm not sure whether I should have done it brown. Then you've got the trees in the background up there. Judging by the tree here, it's got snow all over, so I'm guessing that the grass is going to be covered in snow, so I'm not putting anything there, but I am going to play with the wreath. Not much, just a little bit. We have 2 packs of watercolor pencils in our catalogue, which covers most of our colour ranges, and they all work really, really well with our actual, you know, inks. They're the same sort of colours, which is lovely. And I'm just going to use my blender pen to come in and blend that in. In between colours, just make sure you get the last colour out, because you don't want to end up with red trees or green berries. So I'm just literally put the slightest of colour onto the card. And have I got it brown? I have. I'm gonna just do a bit of the house really simply. I'm not an artist. I'm not going all artisty with it. Just a little play. And then we can have a look at whether it's better once you've used the watercolor pencils, or whether it's better like that. As you can see, this is like probably the worst version of watercolor. If I was gonna make you sit through a 5-hour video, I'd have done this really nice and lovely and got it looking pretty beautiful with our pens, but I might actually do one for you to see and then do it as one of my time lapses. I used to do time lapses all the time. I stopped doing it because people were so lovely. I did my time lapses when I first started because I struggle with anxiety and didn't particularly want to put myself on show and sit and talk with you all. But you all left such lovely messages when I actually did start talking that I actually like nattering away at my camera now, and I enjoy it whenever I see your comments come through. So gave me a bit of confidence, thank you. That's distracted me. Let me put blue through. Literally just, I put that really scratchy just above the house, I don't know if you can see, and I'm going to come through my blender pen again. Just colour that outwards, just to give it a slight glow. Really faint, but I do actually I actually prefer it with a bit of colour on. So sentiment wise, I'm loving that from our home to your home. I've stopped on that. I was looking at the other two, but that one I love that. That's just such a glorious sentiment. Especially as normally when you send Christmas cards, you don't just send them to one person, you send them to a home from a home. I live with my brother and we would send one Christmas card to everybody rather than 2 Christmas cards. So mainly because he doesn't really care about cards and it's my thought to get the card going. But yeah, that's one that I feel is a really good sentiment to use. So I'm going to punch that out and punch that out. Don't worry that I've overlapped it. That's no problem at all, because I'm not keeping it this shape. we used to, Stampin' Up, we used to have a punch, it retired, that was hexagonal. Is that the one that's got 6 sides? And I loved it. It's retired, and obviously as a demonstrator I only use current products because, you know, hopefully I plan to sell some. So I try when I get a time to still create hexagonal sentiments. So I use the tailored tag punch. I chop off the ends to try and get a little bit close to what we had. I know, sad, right? Okay, I love that down there. I'm not sure on this card because I don't want to ruin my colouring, so I'm going to pop that at the top there. Okay, dimensionals. I know I'm cheating on this this Winter Wednesday one because my promise is that I'll make 3 completely different cards, but they are completely different because that one's coloured and that one's not, and I know it's pretty much the same, but you know what, there's one image stamp. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is live with him. No, I'm not. I'm just saying I wanted to know when I started it which I preferred, whether I preferred it with the colour or whether I preferred it without, and I actually really prefer it with the colour, which surprised me actually. That's not where I thought I was going to go. So back with my Stamparatus when I can find where I put it, and trust me, it's hard to lose. It's quite big, but I can lose anything. Okay, I'm using my scrap piece this time because I've had a little bit of a tiny thought, and my thought is that I like that lamppost, so I want just the lamppost. This is going to put my fussy cutting skills to the test. So not only have you had to sit through me playing with my watercolor pencils, you're now going to have to sit through me fussy cutting. I'm being particularly delightful today, aren't I? My actual plan when I saw it, I will tell you that because you will then probably laugh at me. My actual plan when I first saw this set was to heat emboss it white on either a black or a light blue card, so that it looked like you had the haze at the back, because when it snows it's always a beautiful white sky, isn't it? After the snow, before the snow you get a white sky, after the snow you seem to get a beautiful sort of light blue glowy sky, and I thought that with the heat embossing would look lovely. But as we know on these series, I never do what I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do, so I'm shocked myself. Fussy cutting time. There's not dies for this set, unfortunately, probably because of all the different elements that's on it, and it is just one really nice big stamp. I suppose they didn't probably think that someone was going to come across and just nick the lamppost from it. Haven't met me, that's what I do. So the thought that I'm thinking in my head while I'm sitting fussy cutting this is, do I re-stamp the whole image on a sheet of paper and then stick this using a pop-up on top to make it like more 3D and add emphasis after I've fully coloured this? Or do I just use this as a standalone card and make this the focal point? I have no clue, but I know that I have these cards next to me that I can balance this on and see where I'm planning to go. So for those of you who don't like fussy cutting, and I know there's quite a few of you that don't, I personally love it. I find it really relaxing. A way that I find easier It's up to you, obviously you're the cutter, but the way I find easier, and I actually have found it to be really a lot smoother, is to not use the full length of your snips, but to just use the bottom bit up here. So instead of going in like that, go in like that, and don't cut your snips all the way, just, and then you can maneuver the paper round into the shape that you sort of want it to go. So pause, and that's how I just find it easier to fussy cut. Let's get all of that off my table. So do I want to pop it out? Do I want it on its own? I think I actually want it on its own. So I've got some scrap paper somewhere. There we go. Actually, I don't care. I'm going to do it on here. This is very unlike me. I hate messing up my grid paper on film, but I'm actually going to do it. So, our new in colour cinnamon cider blends, the dark. Pick one side of the lamppost that you think the shade will fall on. And put the dark bit on that side. Oh, don't forget in the middle of the wreath. That would have been easy to forget. Then just colour all the rest of the lamppost in with the light cinnamon cider. There we go. Dark soft suede. I'm just going to do the frame of the light in that. And then in the centre I'm going to use dark So Saffron just to do the wick like that. Dark Melon Mambo for my ribbon. I know Christmas ribbons are traditionally red, I know, but I'm doing it with Melon Mambo because I want it pink. I've done everything awkwardly today, haven't I? It's been one of the moods. So light Melon Mambo to blend it in. And I've done all the berries in Melon Mambo as well. And then the whole wreath, I'm just going to do in light granny apple green. I'm not going to bother blending it with the dark. I'm just going to do the whole wreath in it. There we go. There's my lamppost. So I could have popped it out on a black and white one, but I don't like the idea of that. So I'm going to get another piece of Whisper White cardstock. It's slightly smaller than what we used before. So this is 13.85 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. And the sentiment I'm going to be using with this one is feeling grateful for the blessing of your friendship. And I'm actually going to use the other sentiment as well. I'm going to use both of them. So I'm going to grab another scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. Pop that on, grab the 2 1/4 inch circle punch, and I'm going to pop this as far to that side as I can. I love that. Do love that. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of memento up there. Sorry, not memento. Don't put memento up there. That's your ink pad. I put some Tombow up there. Oh, people. I think after this I'm just going to go in and have a little lie down. It's clearly exhausting me. There we go. And the other sentiment is with heartfelt wishes for a wonderful season. I'm going to turn this round so I actually stamp it up the right way. Pop that there. Okay. And am I happy with that being? Right, okay, I'm going to break my rule very slightly. And I'm going to grab some snowflakes from another set. Bad hells. You can all leave me scathing comments and bad reviews, but I'm going to use these little snowflakes here from the Life is Beautiful. They can either be snowflakes or they can be like dazzling diamond, you know, sparkles. But I'm going to use those with memento, and I'm just going to. Oh no, I'm not. I'm not using them with memento. Doing it again, people. I'm changing my mind. Bet you wonder how I normally just get on with things when I haven't made my mind up. I'm going to do it with Smoky Slate. So it actually looks like very light snowflakes. Line it up and stamp it down lightly. Line it up, stamp it down lightly. There you go, just to give it some sort of purpose. It did feel a little bit like naked before. You could have used our mini dimensionals, you could have used a bit from around the edge, but I just took a big one and cut it in half to get the top part of the lamp stuck up, because I don't want that going flat. After I spent all the time colouring it, I want it to look quite pretty still. So there we go. There are my cards. So all I need to do now is put them onto some backs. So we've got thick Whisper White cardstock. I've cut it in half already. I just need to score it. So I'm just going to score that at 10.5 centimetres, which is the midway point. One more, because I've done 3 cards. So thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this set. I wasn't sure when I purchased it. I knew I liked it, and like I said, I liked the idea of potentially doing it on a doing it heat embossed and putting it on the background. But obviously I changed my mind today. But I actually quite like it. I think it's quite nice as a scene. Quite scenic. So that can just be popped up on there. Let me know which one out of the 3 is your favourite. If you prefer this card watercoloured to it just being black and white. You know what you could do? In fact, I'm thinking that I might do it actually before you all go. Just pop these two on, and then that one I'm going to absolutely cover in Wink of Stella. See how it looks. I do like that sentiment, from our home to yours. That's going to get so much use. So I've got my Wink of Stella up here. I have. Wink of Stella is beautiful because it is really, really glittery. Yeah, and that started transforming already. So if I can bring that up, and hopefully it will show you just how much sparkle is on that, and I'm really hoping you can see it sparkling. So I'm going to cover the whole image in that. Never have enough glitter. Of course, when I put my pictures up on Instagram and my blog, you won't see that it's covered, but when I post it and give it to people, they will see that it glitters and it's covered. And hopefully when I show you on my video, you can see the sparkles, because they're just beautiful. I actually let people in my team, I give them a gift of the Wink of Stella, because I think it's one of those things in the catalogue that you sort of is there and you wouldn't think of getting. And I'm really hoping you can just see how glittery that is. Fingers crossed you can. So I'm going to pop that up. If you like anything that I have used today, pop over to my site, slimandstylish.com. Go up to the header, you can click buy and add any of these into your basket. Hopefully you've enjoyed the series, so do pop me a little like, leave me a comment, or subscribe and pop back for others. That would be lovely too. On a Saturday I do a Saturday series, and that covers 3 cards, again very much like this, but from the annual catalogue. And then every Wednesday is my Winter Wednesday. And there are my cards. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I will see you all again soon. Bye everyone.